everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Better Call Saul, Season 5, Episode 2. It's called 50% Off. So, full spoilers for the episode, and this was a sort of two-for back-to-back nights. This is the regular day, of course, of the episode. Well, at least regular day for our review, obviously aired last night by the time this goes up, but... So second episode aired and picked up kind of from one of the scenes from episode 1. In fact, it was a fairly comical transition because it was the second that Jimmy gave out the vouchers, his business card, and said, hey, 50% off for non-violent felonies. First of all, the guy said that's almost half, which got a chuckle out of me.
Me too, yeah.
And then it was just this insane montage of them doing as much crime as they could think of over the course of the night, because...
Occasionally yelling to each other, 50% off.
Yeah. So, okay, when you get someone... Because this is essentially an even goofier version of like Badger, say, from Breaking Bad. This is these, junkies who are just silly and ridiculous and have no compass of... Not even just a moral compass, just no compass of any kind. They have no... bearing on what they're doing. But what I thought was cool though is it does actually kind of tie into why we set up how the system worked last episode with where they bought the drugs, because
with the drain pipe.
Yeah, because that became a factor in this episode in a couple of different ways, which was cool. Because they go to get more after they wake up with the car crashed, and they go. And Joe, it's funny. I didn't mention in the review last time, but I did have this thought when we saw this in action last time. I thought, that drain pipe's not that thick. Like, how easily would it be for that to get blocked? And these aren't exactly the type of people, either the people selling or the people who are trying to buy, who are, how should I say, diplomatic when it comes to hiccups in the chain of events, right? They're not the most understanding of people.
I guess the thing is that what they're putting in it is relatively small packets anyway, so I assume it doesn't get blocked that often.
Sure, but like, how if it does happen, and it does happen here, like, do you believe this random ass junkie who's telling you that the thing never came out? Like, it's exactly the sort of person you'd expect to be lying and try to pull a fast one.
It is. That said, I don't think it escalates that badly. Given the type of people involved.
Oh no, it doesn't in this.
Civil.
It doesn't in this case, but that was what I was thinking last episode. And sure enough, in this episode, it does block, and it leads to I don't know his name, but the old dude who's with Nacho a lot. he comes by to unblock it, and the police show up, and everyone skedaddles, but he's up the ladder, so he can't just run the way they can. So he's being all nice, and you can see the punchline to the scene coming when he sort of taps the drain pipe and the drugs come out.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's blocked. I'm trying to unblock it, and he taps it, and they all come out, and the cop's like, guess it worked.
Yeah, so I mean, they take him in, and ultimately, of course, this ends to the last scene of the episode, which is Nacho coming to pick up Saul. To tell him to get in the car, and his poor ice cream cone. The final shot, this dramatic shot of the ice cream cone on the pavement.
Do you know what, that last scene? I don't want to say it surprised me in terms of what it was. It wasn't a particularly surprising scene. More just so there was like a what is a traditionally an ending shot. Just at the end of the previous scene, it was Jimmy walking towards the camera after he's pulled his scam.
Yeah,
and that was the sort of shot where I'm like, oh, it ends on that, and then it just kept going for like an extra 90 seconds or whatever.
Yeah,
and they had to feel like, well, we've got to top that now, so ice cream it is.
We got to set up the ice cream. So, and it's not the first time he's had ice cream, actually. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's like the season 2 poster, even. He's like sitting in the pavement with an ice cream cone or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a recurring thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's 2 episodes in a row.
Of course, yeah. So, obviously, I'm skipping over a lot there. I just wanted to mention that because that's obviously why they're there to see him, is because this dude went to jail. I should mention, actually, I was calling Lalo Eduardo last episode, and in my defense... I never even checked his name after we watched the episode because I heard I saw someone in the subtitles call him Eduardo.
No, here's the thing. So he is called Eduardo, but it seems to be only the family members call him that.
That's okay then. I'm not going crazy.
No. He is. I distinctly actually remember his introduction where he introduced himself as Eduardo, but everyone calls me Lalo.
That's fine now. That's fine. I thought I was going crazy this episode because I'm like, wait a minute.
No.
He was Eduardo.
I think the family members do call
Okay,
him
that's
Eduardo, which is why you only ever see it in the subtitles.
That's fine. Because it's after this, of course, you know, like and again we'll go back to the main stuff with Nacho and Lalo, but like there's a moment here where Nacho's trying to sort of win his favor, win his trust, and he's like, oh, so this guy's been picked up, and Nacho's like, hey, I mean, we've known him my whole life. I wouldn't worry about him talking. Why are you worried? And there's like a really awkward pause, and he sort of like you can see him. It's a good bit of moment of acting actually. He sort of gulps before he says it. He's like, "Do you want me to take care of it?" And he kind of his voice just shakes enough as he's saying it, right? Where you can tell he's willing to do it if he really has to, because he knows that like he'll have no other choice. But he doesn't want to kill him. He doesn't want to kill someone who's essentially been a friend, presumably for his whole life. So it's a really well done moment, and of course he's like, and Lalo just kind of smells it off and laughs because he's making them like tacos during this scene. So they've just sat down to eat the tacos when they're having this conversation.
I'm not gonna lie.
But he just sort of laughs, says, no, I've got other plans for him, and obviously Nacho or someone's come up with the idea to go get a lawyer, and that Saul might be the best fit.
I get why though. Like he's a pretty solid lawyer. We've seen him win many cases, or at least get the best he can.
True, absolutely
true. And obviously Nacho knows him, and he has not got any qualms with representing the shady. We've seen that many times.
Yeah, because obviously this goes back to a scene early on where Nacho is taken from his bed. Victor and other henchmen sort of come out of the house, take him to where his dad works, and Victor goes in and it's all threatening, and Gus gets in the car. And, I mean, it's not exactly it's not like a super inventive shot, because we've all seen the the reflection in the eyes in the mirror in the car done before, but it's one of those things where they just do it perfectly. Like you can it's Gus.
But I think it is. I think it's the mirror tilt that sells it.
Oh sure, yeah. He gets in the car. You can tell it's Gus, but he tilts the mirror, and because it's like instead of his eyes moving to look at Nacho, he's already looking at him, but the mirror has that motion instead, where it goes to look at him. There's just this extra barrier, between the two of them, and it's basically they're making a point, of course, because he really wants Nacho to tell him everything that Lalo's doing and what he's up to, and Nacho's like, oh, he just keeps talking about this German guy and blah blah blah. And he's like, well, win his trust. If he doesn't talk to you, then win his trust somehow. I don't care how.
Make yourself indispensable, essentially.
And that kind of becomes the thing. So when the police are all getting ready to go into the drug den or whatever you call these places that sell drugs, right?
Den is where they're used. So
that's where they're used. Okay.
I wouldn't go with den.
Distribution center. I don't know. Right.
It's too fancy, but sure.
Right. But they're watching from afar, right? So Lalo's in the car, Nacho's in the car. There's a couple of it's the people who usually who ran away. The white dude from the front, and then the woman who's up with a shotgun, and they're saying, they're going to get in there and search everything. And Lalo's like, how much of our stuff is left in there? How much of a loss is this going to be? He's like, almost a full, key. And he just like sighs and rubs his eyes, and Nacho basically sees his moment to try and prove his like worth and that he's trustworthy by daring to run up in the roof of the building adjacent, jump into the building, steal the drugs back from the chair, which we knew where they were in from last episode. That was a point they made a mention of bringing up, and then he has to sort of quickly escape.
Get out the window before the cops come in, and he just makes it in time.
And every so often it cuts back to Lalo, and he's not eating popcorn, but it might as well be popcorn.
He's very excited about the whole show.
Oh, he's enjoying it all. He's enjoying it all immensely. So between that, because before, as he's making the tacos later, before they have this conversation, and because the police snooping around, all of the dealers, all the heads of the various corners are all hanging around the restaurant, and they're all like, sort of waiting for the okay to go back out. Waiting until heat's died down and they can go back out and start selling again. And Nacho says, hey, they want to know if they can go back out. And he's like, it's up to you. He gives Nacho the trust of making that choice. So clearly it's working. We see a couple of examples here. We even see them playing poker together. That's actually when the other guy's called away because of the blockage, the aforementioned. So, and we see, Lalo win at a hand. They had nothing, just on bluffing alone. just calling out the other guy, which again is just another little example of how he's able to sort of, so with him in competition with Gus, because we know how good Gus is, but it's showing that Lalo's just as good theoretically.
Lalo is clearly very good at reading people. He's got such a different attitude and mindset to Gus, though. Gus is so cold and calculating, and Lalo, he's not stupid. Obviously, he's not
Oh
making
yeah,
like bad
yeah.
decisions. He's just doing it with a bit more flamboyance.
I mean, I don't want to say Gus isn't a psychopath, because he clearly is, the way he threatens, Nacho's dad and so on and so on. But I feel like Lalo's more traditionally what I think of as the psychopathic version of this.
It feels more like the difference between psychopath and sociopath.
Yeah, sure, I could see that. But yeah, he's more of a, not raving, but like, because he's so friendly and in your face about it, he seems to enjoy it more. Whereas Gus, I don't really get the impression he enjoys the violent side of things. But he's absolutely willing to do it.
He does it because it works and because he gets results, not because he enjoys it.
Yeah. So interesting, pairing up or face off between those characters, and Nacho caught in the middle of it, which I don't feel can end well for him. But
yeah, I feel a death coming.
I want to say this though. I think Nacho's plot, has steadily gotten more interesting on its own terms throughout the show.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember at the start he was just kind of there, and he was interesting enough, but it was always in connection with Mike or in connection with Saul, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah, he's very much developed his own plot, and it's working for him. So that's good stuff. Having all that. There's a scene with Lalo and Hector as well. He goes to see Hector.
Pours him some booze.
Yeah, not much to say about it really. He's just kind of like saying that he's sure that Gus is up to something, and he's going to figure it out.
And Hector's like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, pretty much. Ding, 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 ding. I believe is the exact response.
I'm translate. It's all in the eyes.
So that stuff was good. Go to Saul. A couple of key things that really happened with him, aside from the ending, which we talked about already, is basically the first half, I'd say, is the stuff with Kim, and then the second half is the stuff with him just sort of doing his job now. And the first half with Kim is her being very standoffish. She even has to reiterate it, eventually, that, hey, like, I can't lie to my clients, that can't happen, and that includes any of them. And he's like, of course, and he agrees to, like, not, never push her into that again. But of course,
also,
what?
I was say, it was fridges. He said fridges.
Oh, I was right. Yeah, you could tell. You could tell me I'm right. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he, but what I love about this is that she's like sort of being this stern with him because this is how she felt. But we know she did give in and do it anyway, and it worked. And it adds just this extra little layer that just makes it a bit spicy.
It's kind of like she is kind of like a bit of a junkie, isn't it? She's like, I'm not going to do it. That's it. Last time. I'm never doing it again. And that's what she's putting on that strong front. But the minute she's actually in the situation, like, she kind of caved, right? That's what we saw. She was giving it strong to Jimmy, in the courtroom last time. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. We're not doing this. I'm not lying to him. As soon as he left, she goes over there. So she can't help herself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd jump to junkie, but certainly addicted would be a word that I'd be thrown around. The way she talks about it, the way she's like adamant she's not doing it, the way she's like even ashamed to to do it in front of Saul, who's obviously who's worse for it, but
she doesn't want to admit to him that she's as bad at it.
Yeah, and largely perhaps because she wants to not enable him doing more of it himself. Like, if anything, she wants to show that it does work without it, so that he'll maybe be better. She's hoping that she can change him in some way. But so we have this. She's very cold with him. He's saying, "Do you want to watch a movie tonight?" She's not really having it. But he's like, "Hey," he jumps in the car just at the last second as she's leaving. He's like, "Hey, this will take 5 minutes. Let's go a couple blocks. I've got something to show you." And he takes her to an open house. And they go in, it's a nice big house, and he's saying, just imagine the big TV there. I did like the small detail of him saying a big plasma TV, because it sort of puts it in the right time frame.
Yeah, it's like one of those new ones. It's like, yeah, sure, that lines up.
And, they're checking things out, giant closet space, which was cool, because the previous scene when they were getting ready for work, there was like a little exchange about how the closet space is completely full, and he's kind of hogging more of it. So I was like, here's a big walk-in closet, tons of room. Yada yada yada, and she's kind of cold and distant about a lot of this, but it kind of just turns a little bit at the end, where they're in the bathroom, and like he's kind of cheered her up. She's kind of accepted what he's been saying, and she turns the water on to kind of mess with him and gets him all wet. Which, by the way, the realtor did not look amused.
She really didn't. She looked fuming. They definitely signed that book on the way out.
How dare you turn on the shower? How dare you?
I only was so much that they turned on the shower, but more that he'd obviously just been dripping around the rest of the house.
Oh,
afterwards.
sure, yeah. No, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, but it was this playful side that came back out. It was like remembering what she likes about Saul again, and again, like almost the appeal of these bigger, better things of getting a house, of doing these things with him. And we've already sort of done this dance to an extent because we did this with the co-joint office, right? Where there's these dreams of these big things we can do together. And I think in the back of her head, she doesn't want to take this step because we tried that once and it completely fell on its face because of everything that happened. And because when they get out,
the reason this doesn't feel like we're just repeating ground though is that this is much more personal.
Oh, of course, no, that was not a critique. If anything, it was a compliment because it felt like it was the pattern of events and his behaviour is good character writing. The idea that it's been presented in a slightly different way, but ultimately what he's presenting and the mistake that she can make will be the same as before, and maybe that's where she catches herself. Because when they get out to the car, he says to her, "Hey, this is be perfect for us, sometime soon," and she gives that really cold response of, "Yeah, maybe someday," which is the total non-committal. Like,
we'll talk about this later.
Yeah, I'm not really considering this. Yeah, this is really not the mood right now. I'm not feeling it. Even though she did perk up a little bit in there, there's that, and I think that's why they are still a thing. Is that there is this slice of him that she does like, and there is this part of what he kind of promises that does appeal to her. It's not completely void, and that's why they're still a thing. It's why she's not just ran for the hills, seasons ago at this point. So that was good. There wasn't a ton more Kim after this, I don't think, if at all.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because the stuff with Saul after this, where he's kind of running around in the courthouse, trying to sort of deal with these cases. Because we hear earlier on that he's got like 45 cases, which is far too many for one lawyer to handle.
Yeah. And he's like, "I got a system, don't worry about it." And
he wants to try and talk to the judge, the DA, whoever it is he's talking to, about like just settling some of these cases. Here's let's get the offers on the table so we can wrap this up as quickly as we can. And when he tries to push it, and he kind of does this thing where he's preparing for this, and then he ends up getting interrupted, and he talks to like a client at one point about what she should be wearing to look good for the judge, and then talks to someone else, and then of course Hamlin shows up. Which, by the way, the shot of Hamlin coming into the scene
on the other side of the door,
it's just a little 2-door frame windows, and one's in each one.
So good.
Yeah, it was beautiful stuff. They're separate. They're so far apart. There's a void between them. Interesting though, Hamlin was playing nice and wants to go to lunch with him soon, and it does make me wonder, what does he want to talk to him about at lunch? Like, what's the...
Yeah, and it felt pretty genuine.
Yeah, no, and he's like, "Hey, Saul Goodman," yeah, and it felt... And I feel like maybe Jimmy still holds a grudge, and that's part of this, but I also wonder if Hamlin just kind of represents something that Jimmy wants to forget, and that, that's his brother. It's about that entire past.
Yeah, it goes back to last episode talking about the one good reason for the name change was that he doesn't want to just be his brother, and I think Hamlin does represent that entire section of his professional life.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to if there's something specific that he wants to talk to him about, and I think there might be as to what that is. I'm very curious.
It could also just be Hamlin still feeling a bit guilty.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, very possible. Or maybe Saul's just entitled to something from the company because his brother, for the law firm, because his brother was a partner. Maybe he's
possible.
I don't know. Like, I don't know, royalties, that's not the word, but like something like that.
No, I know what you mean. It's not impossible, but I think unlikely.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But he kind of darts off because the woman he's waiting to see comes out the room. So he's like, "Oh, there you go. Have your secretary call my people." Your people, Saul. I don't think he actually says that, but that's what it sounded like. In my head, that's what I heard, I think, as he was walking away.
Your people have my number or something.
That's
like
what he said, yeah. But in my head, I heard "call my people" because I feel like Saul would say that.
Wouldn't be the first time he's tried.
But the woman fobs him off. She's like, no. Look, you're just trying to get me to agree to a quick. Even though we've got a meeting scheduled for Tuesday, you want to get through more clients so you can make more money. That's not my problem. There's a routine to this. We're not changing this.
Yeah.
Enter the most obvious Saul con job in the world, because the second the elevator, because basically she gets into the elevator, this is a little bit later, she's into the elevator and he darts out at the last second. He's talking on his headset, his little Bluetooth headset.
That's what dates this more than even the plasma TV references.
Oh, sure.
Everyone walking around with those things in the mid 2000s.
Yeah. And he, and the elevator breaks down, and as soon as it happens, I just smelled the word, Saul, you bastard.
It was so obvious, I half expected her to call him on his shit.
Yeah, I know, I was half expected it as well. I was getting this won't be a reference that anyone outside the UK gets, but I was just reminded of one of the final episodes of Only Fools and Horses where Del did this to Ron in the elevator. Like, it was reminding me of that, and I was wondering, how did he do this? And we find out at the end it's because he actually paid off the elevator repair guy to sabotage it.
Just wait a little bit before you fix it as well.
Yeah, almost, because I thought she was going to get it, if not at the start. See at the end when he says, 20 minutes that was, as if, because that's what he said earlier. Wait, if you just give me 20 minutes, we can get through all these cases.
Yeah, and she definitely, it feels like maybe she was aware, because there's a bit where she's she's on the phone in there, to the people that fix it. She's like, well, I'm in this apparently working elevator, and it felt like she knew exactly what was going on and just played along because she might as well get it over and done with.
Yeah, because it is less work for her come Tuesday, I suppose. But although that said, knowing Saul, he'll have another stack, but then because he's going through clients so quickly. But she's almost surprised at how quickly he deals with things, because she's like, oh well, this one, fine. You know what? 4 months of this, blah blah blah. He's like, done. It's like, just like that. It's like, just like that. Now next, and he just churns through them.
Yeah, he rattles through like all but 3 or something like that by the end of it.
So yeah, so he's doing fine. And it's one of those things where, towards the end of the episode, before that final scene, I was sort of wondering, I'm like, okay, how do we kick this into high gear this year? Like, how does he have a bigger plot going forward? And of course, then Nacho shows up, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, he's going to be the lawyer for this. He gets
tied into not just petty crime, but something serious.
Yeah, something very serious. So, that's exciting going forward. Obviously, the one big thing we're not really talking about is Mike, who has essentially a couple of scenes where he's called to come and look after his granddaughter, which he's all happy about. They're working on the treehouse, and today I learned that a touchdown in American football is worth 7 points. That was news to me.
News to me as well.
Because he brought up the Super Bowl. Remember the Super Bowl? And I'm like, I don't get the reference why that's we tilted the 7 times table. And then he started saying, okay, so they've got 3 touchdowns. So was that? I was like 21. I'm like, a touchdown's worth 7 points. Oh, very good.
Yeah.
News to me.
It's completely over my head, because my only cultural touchstone to anything of American football is to try and liken it to what I know about rugby, because they're like vaguely similar.
Do you get 7 points for a touchdown in rugby?
Well, no, because it's called a try, so you can probably guess how many points you get for that.
Oh, 3.
There you go. Clues in the name.
I'd heard. I wouldn't have guessed that if you hadn't said it so sort of like, you could probably get it from the name, because I wouldn't necessarily have assumed it was spelled with an I.
Yeah.
I thought it was try as in you tried to do
it. You tried and you succeeded.
Touchdown sounds better than a try. Sounds more conclusive.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you that it's worth 7 points.
No, it doesn't. But I mean, nothing tells you that a slam dunk in basketball is worth 2 points either, but we just know it.
I mean, sure, what you told.
All right. But anyway, the granddaughter, starts asking about her dad and about how he was a policeman, what he wanted to be when he was younger, and says, "Hey, was he a good policeman like you?" kind of thing. And Mike just can't take this, and it reminds me, because one of the best scene of this show might still be that scene from season 1. If you go all the way back to season 1,
I forget?
Mike confessing to the daughter-in-law, if you will, why he felt guilty about his son's death, is still one of the best scenes of this entire show. So that's just reminded me of that, because this was sort of the same things coming up to him, and it was starting to.
I mean, for us, it's been 5 years we've watched this show now. I think it's been going. Whereas, I mean, in real time in the show, it's been maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We know we had the big year jump for last season. But other than that, I think it was not that much time passed.
Yeah, before season 4, that was over the year he couldn't practice law. I think seasons 1 to 3 weren't that much in terms of span of time.
No, that's what I say, like a year at most, right?
Yeah. So, no, but it reminded me of that, and he gets upset. And what's interesting is that when he storms out at the end of the scene when the mum's back home, he's like, oh, she's in her room, she didn't eat, she won't come out, and she's like, why? And he just doesn't answer and just walks off. And I'm like, you're acting like the kid. You're actually acting the same way. You're just refusing to talk and leaving. So you'll probably come back crawling to apologize soonish. Because it's not, obviously she wasn't saying anything bad or malicious. This was purely a little girl asking about her dad, and it was just pushing some serious guilt buttons.
I think, when she tells her mother what it was that happened, obviously she knows the truth, so she'll kind of understand and go a bit easier on him.
Yeah, I can still see her giving it a little bit of hell, but more understanding hell, I suppose.
Yeah, but not just being angry at him for, berating a child, but more like, okay, I understand what upset you, and okay, we need to work on this. You can't be doing that, but I get it.
Yeah, you have to be able to talk about your son to his daughter. Like that's something
she's going to ask.
It's going to come up. Like you're going to have to be able to do it at some point. By the way, pretty epic treehouse he's built for her. Just want to put that out.
Yeah, lots of good houses in this episode.
What? Yeah, I like it. Houses. Yeah, nice place.
That reminded me of like Nacho's place. Like it's so distinctive that I couldn't have told you beforehand. Oh yeah, where does Nacho live?
Yeah.
But the second you see that room, I'm like, oh yeah, I know this entire house. Like it just pops back into your memory.
Actually, we mentioned the shower. Can we talk about the shower and how it has all the nozzles down the sides, so you can just sort of spray water straight onto your body, like from the sides? I've never had the pleasure of a shower such as this. I'm intrigued.
I've been at one like once on a holiday.
I'm intrigued.
In a very fancy hotel.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this like all directional shower that you can use.
They're pretty good.
I like the sound of it.
They're pretty good, yeah.
The sound of it. So it looks good to me. Very swish, very fancy. All right. Oh dear.
That was some real estate talk there at the end.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. There's that one guy that always comments on our Saul reviews, who's a painter. He was commenting endlessly. I think it was season 3 when they were painting the office. There was just tons of comments about the painting techniques and whatnot.
We appreciate it all.
Yes. No painting in this episode, from what I recall, but yeah, who knows? So no, and also the episode.
Were they painting the stairs that on the treehouse? They're doing something with the steps, aren't they?
No, I think they were just putting the steps on, and then they were putting like a layer of like I don't know. Basically, it's like a gripping, so that it was
like a rubber grip,
so you couldn't slide off of it. I'm not quite sure what you'd call it, but I knew what it was.
In my head, I remember seeing like a different color going onto them. I'm like, was that paint? I don't think it was. You're right.
Yeah, no. They were putting the steps in and then putting on the grip so that should less likely to fall and break her neck.
Presumably for when it rains.
Oh, of course, yeah. But either way, Treehouse is mostly safe. Although I didn't quite get it finished. I don't know if Mike finished it when she stormed off.
I find it unlikely.
I don't know if he was in the mood after that conversation. I
feel like it's the sort of thing that he'll feel bad about and just go and finish in like the middle of the night, and then he'll just wake up to it.
That sounds exactly like Mike. That sounds exactly like him. Yeah, but that was the episode. Saul again. Saul is obviously a show that's very consistent for being kind of slow in its build, but everything really pays off because of it, and everything is very meticulous in the way it's laid out as we go through. And a lot of big stuff this episode. I mean, we were excited, I think, at the end of last season about Lalo because he felt like a big presence just in the last couple of episodes that he was in. But this is obviously the season where we really get to have him. I don't know if he's going to be like done by the end of the season or if he's here till the end of the show. It could be either. It just depends what they're doing.
It could go either way, really. Yeah.
So super excited for all this stuff. and of course Saul back in the game. So let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters and all that stuff. You can do that over at mailed_fuzz. You can of course support us over at patreon.com/mailedfuzztv for as little as $1 per month. You can as well of course check out the content we have. We're almost done reviewing The Outsider on HBO. We just had episode 8 of that. Yeah, we got 2 episodes left. Star Trek Picard's also being reviewed, so check out some of the TV reviews that are ongoing right now. There's some others coming soon. Westworld season 3 is not too far away, so look out for all that stuff. But thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?